Okay, so I'm just gonna wipe my hands down with isopropyl alcohol because I can, and we just want to be as sterile as we possibly can, right? So these are my 3 jars that I've just sterilized for 2 hours on the boil. Like I said, you can do it other ways. This is the way I've done it. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll have to rethink my plan, right? So we have our spore syringe from last night that has been hydrating for 24 hours. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use it to propagate or inoculate, whatever word you want to use, these 3 jars of grain. So I'm just going to shake this syringe because we just want to shake the spores up, make sure they're evenly dispersed as much as possible. Sometimes they will clump together just depending on how you've managed to suck them up into the syringe. Now, there are some people on YouTube that will tell you you do your CO2 hole plus you do another hole for the injection port with a silicone top that is self-sealing. Look, you can totally do that, no worries. I don't have silicone, I don't have time to beat around the bush. Personally, from my point, if you're gonna make 2 holes, you might as well just make 1. Who needs another self-sealing hole when you've actually already got a hole in there for the CO2 port? So look, I might be completely wrong. This is just the way I'm looking at it. Go watch other YouTube videos, I don't care. So I'm just using the 1 hole. Take that sexually if you like. I'm not intending it that way. Now, I'm going to try and inoculate my first jar. We only want... Oh! I just lost my needle. Alright, well there's plenty more where that came from. Pausing it. I cannot believe that just popped off the top of the syringe. That's really weird. Clearly did not put it on effectively. Anyway, let's just put another needle on. Got another sterile one here. Some people will say, oh, you gotta flame sterilize it, blah, 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 whatever. It's in packaging. It's already fucking sterile, so you don't need to flame sterilize shit. I will backtrack on my words when this backfires on me, but as far as I'm concerned, that is already sterile. It's out of the packaging, it is sterile. If it's good enough to put in a body, a human body, it's good enough to put in a fucking mushroom jar, right? Okay, so new needle, she's on tight. Let's go. We're going into the 1 hole because 2 holes, as far as I'm concerned, is not necessary. So we'll just go in the side here. You only need to put in, like I said, 1 mil. You can just try and change the spot a little bit. Okay. Easy done. That's 1 done. Second jar. 2 holes. Who needs 2 holes anyway? I can hear all of you talking about your fucking crazy sexual connotations. All right, hang on. Going in for the 2nd mil. 2nd jar. 2nd mil of inoculation. I mean, you can put more in if you like. It's just what you prefer. All right, I put way more in that one. That's fine, whatever. 2 jars inoculated for spawn. Okay, third jar, last one. Second hole, not necessary. Okay, going in. You can try and spread it out just a little bit so it's not just all in the same spot. Sweet. Okay, cap it straight away. Is it the same cap? Clearly not. Try again. There we go, cap it. Make sure it's on tight so that bastard doesn't pop off on me like it just did. And there you go. You've got 3 jars of grain spawn, inoculated, ready to go. Now, what we're gonna do with these jars, essentially it's a sit and wait situation. So really, we just want to put them in a cold, not cold, the temperature needs to be from like around about 18 to 21 degrees. So keep it around that. You don't really want it in a hot location. Dark, some people say it needs to be dark. There's also other blogs that will say, no, it doesn't really need to be that dark. You don't want it in direct sunlight, but you want it in just a cool, calm place, okay? Let's say that. Let it set. So essentially what we want to see is that mycelium growing. It should be like a white fuzz that starts to develop all over the grain for the next 7 to 10 days. So we're watching it for the next 7 to 10 days. Maybe at like 6th or 7th day, if we see that white mycelium start to grow up, that's awesome. We might give the jars a shake. That's why I really want to leave a little bit at the top so we're able to shake it. You don't want to fill it all the way to the top because that's bad. So yeah, that's what we're really looking for. If you see any sort of green growth or any sort of black growth, that's bad. That's not what we want. Django, shut the fuck up. Sorry. So if you see any sort of green or black or any sort of other type of growth, that's bad. It's not worked out well. Your spawn has basically been contaminated, so that's a throwout. So you really need to keep an eye on it, see what's going on. Anyway, so now we sit this away. Let's see what happens. All right, so just a little bit of an update as to what happened with my initial portobello inoculation. So I had waited at least 9 to 10 days, watching for any sort of mycelium growth, didn't get anything. So I was like a bit disappointed. What I've figured out is, because there was nothing growing in the jars, so that was a good sign, which meant I had sterilized the jars correctly, so there was nothing growing in them, so which meant complete sterilization was perfect. That's great. However, somehow I had killed the spores. So what I'm thinking is, think back to it, I had actually used tap water, but I had boiled it thinking that would sterilize it. However, maybe that wasn't good enough, and I'm thinking maybe there was chlorine or fluoride in the water that has killed the spores. That's the only thing I can think of that might have stopped anything from growing. So anyway, even though I harped on about having sterile water and thought that I could sterilize my own, I've gone out and bought some proper sterile water or bacteriostatic water. You can buy them in these little ampules. If you go to your chemist, you can get them. So I'm starting again with the portobellos with this sterile water. Hopefully I have success second time around. In the meantime, I've started with some pink oysters and some Monster Blue oysters, which are going nuts, which I'm going to show you in a second. Okay guys, so it's day 9 after inoculation of my pink oysters and my blue oysters. So I just wanted to show you what my grain jars look like at the moment, because this is about halfway through the inoculation process, so it's time to shake these jars up. So let's have a look. So these are my pink oysters, doing really well. This jar has just gone absolutely nuts. It's almost inoculated the whole jar already. So they are fast growers. These ones at the back, probably about half the jar, so that's why we're going to shake them up so it can get all the way through the grain. You can see the mycelium growing here, that white fuzz. And these are my blue oysters up the top. So this one's going pretty well. Same with this. This one, maybe like half to a quarter of the jar. So this is why we're going to shake it up. We're going to mix things up a little bit and then give it another 9 days or so, if you need it. And then we're going to add it to our substrate. These are my very poor performing portobellos. I don't know if I've already explained to you or not, but I've actually added a mycelium from another propagated mycelium, and just hoping that it will propagate through here, but I haven't been having so much success with the portobellos. So let's go ahead and shake these oysters up.
Oh, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake.